been captured, detained, arrested, and now it has indicted the former Venezuelan leader and his wife, Celia Flores. Let's keep an eye on this as this helicopter is going to land, and then we will be seeing, obviously, we would assume that we will then see the former leader and his wife leaving this helicopter.
Former leader,
and then
former
continuing
terrorist.
to make their way to
Call him a leader.
the federal courthouse.
CNN at its finest.
All along the way to bring you this. We're now seeing Nicolas Maduro departing, coming out of that helicopter. We're going to see his wife probably depart right after that. He's going to be now getting into, we assume, getting into another vehicle and heading to the courthouse. Just remarkable to see this. It was just until the early morning hours of Saturday, that this man and his wife were running a country of more than 30 million people. And then that dramatic and violent U.S. military operation taking place has now captured them, and they're making their way with their hands bound in those tan jumpsuits to be facing a federal judge. See, let's go to that federal courthouse where Maduro is going to be heading right now. Omar Jimenez is standing by, watching this along with us. Omar, it's a pretty remarkable thing to see as he's making his way towards where you are right now.
Yeah, and the preparations for this have really been noticeable on the ground here. Obviously, there's always a stepped up federal security presence to begin with outside this federal courthouse. But here you have barricades up. You actually have a long line stretching outside the entrance of the courthouse, waiting to go in once those doors actually open. And as you see some of those images, I mean, you see Nicolas Maduro. You and I talked about this to start the show, just how quickly things change. Where now he is literally being flanked by DEA agents in a tan suit alongside his wife. Walked down a very visible path from this heliport in the southern part of Manhattan here. From there, we're expecting, obviously, they'll be in vehicles and making their way to this federal courthouse, where we expect that hearing to happen a little bit later this morning, but also to critically begin the legal process that the Trump administration has in part used as justification for the abduction and capture of Maduro.
Split it, pull it apart.
Yeah.
Real hard to get a band-aid. They're hard to do anyway. If not, I'll cut it.
Yeah, we did this the other day.
Yeah, I'll cut it.
Yeah, it's easy. Cut it.
Yeah.
Pain in the neck.
It is. I don't know why they do it like that. You can't use
over the water as opposed to taking the bridge. That was something that we actually noticed Saturday night as well, where traffic would have been much lighter. And when they landed on the western part of Manhattan, rather than just driving, they took a helicopter across the water as well. But again, critically, we're waiting for them by ground to arrive here at this courthouse to begin this next stage.
Absolutely, Omar. We're so thankful that you're there watching it all play out. To track this, they're now back into another armored vehicle and will be leaving the heliport shortly, heading out with that caravan, you would assume, headed right to where Omar Jimenez is at that federal courthouse.
Thank you, Kate. Joining us now, CNN political and global affairs commentator Sabrina Singh. Also with us, CNN national security analyst Alex Putzis. I'm going to start with you, Alex. You have gotten some new details about this operation, about the extraction of the former president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, as we have been watching these pictures, historic pictures of him.
Historic picture, so historic.
In a Manhattan court. What did you learn?
So in speaking to CIA and Department of Defense officials over the weekend and coming here this morning, this was the culmination of months of preparation and training. So
no
the
shit.
decision to do this, or at least be prepared for it, was made many months ago.
You were speaking to them this morning, coming in this morning. I was speaking to CIA officials. You're so full of shit. Fucking talking head.
Along with members of the FBI hostage recovery team, who augmented the military because
These
this was a law
freaking
enforcement operation where they ended up
CNN
distracting Maduro.
talking heads that just bewilder me. An American population just listens to this shit and they suck it in like it's fucking gospel. This bullshit.
To determine the timeline, preparation, how long it take to get there, how long we'd be on the objective, and small details matter. So, for example, the Bin Laden raid, when the CIA built the mock-up facility, they used a chain link fence around the perimeter as opposed to like the 18-foot thick walls at the compound. And so when they trained on it, the rotor wash and the helicopter actually escaped during preparation and training. But when they were in Abbottabad, afterwards they were flying, that didn't happen when the helos went down. So those types of things are incredibly important for preparation.
Yeah, you're talking
Yep,
about
and
sort of
the
this
helo went down during whose administration?
planning very similar
Obama's.
to
Haha.
the intense planning in Abbottabad.
So now we got rid of Gaza, we got rid of Iran, now we're getting rid of Venezuela. America first, baby.
Maduro and his wife were kept alive. I do want to go to you, Sabrina, because we've been hearing a lot
This
from
thing,
the president
she was
in the last
Biden's
24 hours about
spokesperson for the Pentagon.
Venezuela.
Horrible woman.
Historic pictures
Horrible
of
lefty.
the former president of Venezuela being taken into U.S. custody, taken to court on a myriad of charges. And the president has said that the United States will run Venezuela. He has been asked that over and over, and his
Yes, we have to take it over until we can get someone to fit. He said he'll
actually run Venezuela when you consider all the complications going on there right now.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. I think to put things in perspective, I mean, Venezuela is about twice the size of California or even Iraq. So to run a country with 30 million people, and Donald Trump says that we are running Venezuela,
that's not what he said. That's not what he said at all.
I hope that members of Congress on both sides of the aisle.
That's not what he said. He said we will have to do certain things until we can do a formal handoff. You guys are making much more of this than it is.
And you heard, yesterday President Trump saying that we're going to extract the wealth from Venezuela from the oil fields.
Right.
Well, if companies are going to go into Venezuela and start extracting oil, these oil fields are also going to have to be secured. So again, I have so many questions on what it means.
Well, who cares if you have questions? You're a piece of. You're not involved anymore, so go away.
Obviously, putting incredible strain on our military force and frankly, our readiness. But I think also
how is it going to affect our readiness?
On Air Force One yesterday,
we have forces that need to do something anyway, so why not send them to Venezuela to protect these oil fields and do whatever? We got troops to do this stuff.
Members of Congress and frankly the president's base also need to be asking is, how does this fit into the America First agenda that he ran on, in the 2024
Because it makes us the not
not
only the superpower of the world, but this regional superpower and superpower of the world. That's why it's important.
So I have a lot of
Stupid.
outstanding questions on what it means for Venezuela, but also the Western Hemisphere more broadly.
And again, I just want to mention the pictures we've been seeing, watching as.
Why don't you go back to your country there in India or wherever frig you're from? Because you're not from here.
His wife,
you might have been born here, but your family from here.
Talk about the intricacies that you've just brought us new details about the intricacies of how they were able to extract both Maduro and his wife. And now you're hearing the president again reiterate that they are talking about running the country. From a national security standpoint, what position does this put the United States in right now?
It's still a little bit of an uncertain one. I mean, we can sort of derive a little bit more detail from some of the actions that speak to things that were unsaid by the president for what the future looks like. As Sabrina just mentioned, the military footprint, what does that mean for the military running the country, et cetera. So first part for running the country, what we've heard over the last couple of days was the president was asked about the opposition leader Machado, could she take over? And he said, look, she doesn't have the credibility inside the country, et cetera. And he also followed up with, well, Venezuela has a vice president. Very quickly thereafter, within hours, the Venezuelan vice president came out and said, look, we're not in support of this. You need to return to Maduro. We'll defend the country.
Talk about having an overkill of people, though. But I guess, what if someone wanted to hit us?
It seems that the U.S. very clearly had no intention of going in. There was a third of the U.S. deployed Navy off the coast. Only 2,000 Marines, though, in a Marine Expeditionary Unit. That's an insufficient force to take and hold Caracas, let alone the whole country. So it seemed it was targeted strikes, take out the air defense sites, insert the force, which, by the way, they made look easy, but several members were shot and helicopters took a lot of fire coming in. It was actually pretty remarkable that they made it out okay and no one was killed. So at that point,
pretty remarkable. Yeah, because we're fucking awesome. That's why. That's why it's remarkable.
So it was a quick change.
All right. Well, enough of this. I hope everyone has a great day.